Business style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton.
Price $23,000, but Guangzhou price $600.
Hermès is neck-deep in controversy, and this time it might not walk away untarnished. The luxury brand that built its reputation on exclusivity, elite French craftsmanship, and jaw-dropping price tags is now under fire, and the spotlight is unforgiving. And this isn't some isolated whistleblower story. What's unfolding looks more like a coordinated expose, a full-on dismantling of the Hermès myth, one brutal revelation at a time.
Show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany. Thanks to viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now...
A former Hermès insider has reportedly joined forces with the same Chinese manufacturers Hermès once tried to suppress. And now, they're not just exposing the brand, they're allegedly trying to bring it down. The accusations are stunning. Those iconic Birkin bags, often priced at $20,000 or more and believed to be handcrafted by top-tier French artisans, were in fact largely produced in Chinese factories. The bags were then shipped to France for minimal finishing touches just to earn the Made in France label. This isn't luxury, it's a deception. It's not merely a case of fraud, it feels like a betrayal. Devoted customers, collectors, and investors all bought into the illusion Hermès sold them.
At Hermès boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermès only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Paz from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD.
Now that carefully crafted illusion is beginning to fall apart. And the most surprising part? The attack is coming from both directions. One from within, Hermès itself, and the other from the very factories they tried to keep under wraps. This isn't just a minor scandal, it's a full-scale takedown. The fashion industry is stunned. For years, Hermès promoted the idea that every Birkin, every Kelly, every bag was meticulously hand-stitched by highly trained French artisans. But now, one of their own insiders is calling it what it is: a complete fabrication.
One piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, thread. And of course, for Hermès Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil al Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. Edge oil.
This whistleblower didn't just spread rumors, they came with solid proof. According to their claims, a significant portion of Hermès bag production has actually been happening outside France for years. We're talking about the core craftsmanship, leather cutting, stitching, full assembly, not just minor details like buttons or tags, all reportedly done in highly secretive Chinese factories. And these weren't just any facilities. They're said to be the same ones Hermès once allegedly threatened with lawsuits if they ever revealed the truth. The whistleblower says Hermès has gone to great lengths to conceal this, quietly sending partially finished bags to France for minimal final touches, just enough to legally justify the Made in France label.
Edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one.
And this isn't some recent development. It's been happening for years, all carefully hidden behind NDAs, strict internal policies, and tightly managed PR. When the revelations hit the internet, it didn't just rattle buyers, it sent shockwaves through the entire luxury world. Online forums, subreddits, Discord groups, even high-end handbag investment circles are in turmoil, questioning whether their prized collections are truly luxury or just expensive illusions. Industry insiders are weighing in too, calling the allegations not only credible but potentially verifiable. If the leaked documents, shipping records, and factory logs match up, Hermès could be facing worldwide lawsuits, demands for mass refunds, and a devastating loss of consumer trust. And this is where things really escalate. The whistleblower may have fired the first shot, but now the Chinese factories Hermès once tried to silence are speaking out, loudly. These manufacturers, once bound by strict NDAs, gag orders, and corporate pressure, were forbidden from talking to the media, investors, or even their own staff. Hermès kept them in the shadows, but not anymore. Former factory bosses and managers are now stepping up, backing the whistleblower with photos, documents, and insider details. And what they're revealing is damning. Entire batches of Birkin bags, they claim, were fully stitched, assembled, and nearly completed in China, then discreetly shipped to France for a few finishing touches. We're talking about minimal final touches, a rivet here, a stitch there, just enough to create the illusion that the bags were finished in Europe. Why? So Hermès could legally attach the coveted Made in France label and charge $25,000 for what was marketed as a meticulously handcrafted masterpiece. But it gets even murkier. Some manufacturers claim they were explicitly told to remove all traces linking the bags to China. No Made in China tags, no export documentation, no paper trail whatsoever, a complete blackout. One source even leaked internal messages allegedly showing Hermès representatives instructing factory workers to use European stitching styles, despite the bags being assembled in cities like Shenzhen and Dongguan. This wasn't some minor oversight. It was a carefully orchestrated illusion. And now that the truth is starting to surface, the factories are done staying silent. They're turning the tables, joining forces with the whistleblower, and preparing to expose the entire Hermès cover-up. As the situation reaches a boiling point, Hermès has responded in typical high-powered fashion by quickly lawyering up.
Resource cost will be 600 USD. Package. This is not that expensive. It's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermès will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil.
But Hermès didn't deny the allegations. There was no public apology, no promise to investigate, just silence on the core claims. Instead, they went on the offensive, hitting multiple Chinese manufacturers with lawsuits for allegedly violating NDAs, stealing intellectual property, and tarnishing the Hermès brand. In other words, you told the truth, so now we're coming. After you. But here's the twist, the factories aren't backing down. In fact, they're flipping Hermès' strategy against them, arguing that those NDAs weren't meant to protect trade secrets, but were being misused to cover up unethical business practices and keep the public in the dark. They claim they were forced into silence about practices that would never be tolerated in France. Mass production, assembly lines, rushed quality checks, and even subcontracting to smaller, lesser-known workshops during demand surges. Their message is clear. This was never about true craftsmanship. It was about sustaining a lie. And now, Hermès' legal tactics are backfiring. Each lawsuit, leaked court document, and aggressive legal threat only fuels more attention and scrutiny on the scandal. No one is standing behind the billion-dollar brand. They're supporting the workers, the people who actually handled the leather, cut it, stitched it, and packed it long before the bags ever arrived at a French workshop. Now, fashion insiders warn that Hermès is on a razor's edge. If this case goes to court, things could get messy. Internal documents, contracts, shipping records, supplier emails could come to light, revealing the full truth and potentially destroying Hermès' reputation for good. And if even one judge sides with the manufacturers, that Made in France label could quickly turn from a symbol of luxury into the biggest fashion scandal of the decade. Hermès didn't just suffer a blow to their pride, they broke the trust of their customers. When it was revealed that their prized bags might actually be produced in Chinese factories rather than in elegant Parisian ateliers, fans were outraged. People felt betrayed, and they made their voices heard loud and clear. On TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, and Instagram, the luxury community erupted. Bag collectors, fashion influencers, and devoted Hermès fans began questioning everything. Social media flooded with posts analyzing past purchases, unboxing videos, and close-ups comparing stitching on expensive bags. What started as disbelief quickly turned into anger as more people realized they might have spent tens of thousands on what now feels like a counterfeit luxury. One viral comment captured the feeling perfectly. "I didn't buy a Birkin just for the leather. I bought it for the story." And now that story is shattered. That's really the core of this scandal. Hermès didn't just sell bags, they sold a legend. And once that legend fell apart, the quality of the stitching became irrelevant.
Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hanglong from Singapore, or Odin Jurars for their landscape from France. Tannery Haas, Italian Tannery, Fight. Labri Tecna from Italy. Guess where I found all those secret suppliers? All in API.
Wait, you're telling me I waited 3 years, dropped $30,000, and ended up with a bag made in the same factory as knockoffs? That was just one of thousands of angry reactions flooding online. These buyers didn't just feel cheated, they felt completely betrayed. For Hermès fans, it was never only about the bag itself. It was about the dream, the illusion of exclusivity, the pride of finally owning a Birkin and joining that ultra-elite circle. But when people realized they'd paid top dollar for what might actually be mass-produced overseas, the illusion shattered. Refund requests surged, resale values dropped, and consignment shops saw an unprecedented number of Hermès returns. Even major handbag communities like Purse Blog and the Purse Forum were flooded with upset members, forcing moderators to delete threads amid the chaos. This isn't just any scandal, it's a full-blown reputation crisis. Hermès isn't just losing its image. It's witnessing decades of carefully built brand mythology fall apart in real time, with every TikTok video, Reddit post, and frustrated resale request adding fuel to the fire. Hermès spent decades crafting their prestigious reputation. Then, suddenly, one whistleblower and a handful of factory leaks turned the whole story upside down. Now, customers are demanding transparency. No polished PR statements or influencer spin, just the truth. And until Hermès comes clean, the backlash won't die down. It's only gaining momentum. Here's the twist. Hermès isn't the only brand feeling the heat. Once this story broke, luxury houses like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Dior, and Prada all went on high alert. If the supposed pinnacle of craftsmanship and exclusivity can be questioned, everyone's nervous. Shoppers are scrutinizing production details, calling out overpriced items made in cheap factories. This isn't just anger, it's a movement. People are comparing authentic versus fake, influencer hype versus reality, and questioning whether luxury is even worth it anymore. It's about brand image, status, and dreams that now seem mass-produced and fake. Experts warn of upheaval ahead, with demands for stricter country of origin rules and blockchain tracking. One thing's certain, this scandal has changed the luxury fashion landscape forever. This wasn't just a single whistleblower, it was a whole group. Insiders, factory workers, and those who'd been silenced or gagged for years, finally coming forward together. They didn't just damage Hermès's reputation, they tore it apart. Now the shockwaves are shaking the entire fashion world. Brands are scrambling behind closed doors, holding emergency meetings, revising statements, and worrying if their own secrets will be exposed next. Some executives are hiring lawyers, not necessarily because they're innocent, but because they sense time is running out. Rumors are spreading about other major luxury names using similar tactics like secret, outsourcing, and deceptive supply chains.